AITA for hating my family after realizing the childhood I lost because of where they chose to live. When I was around 4 years old, my grandparents decided to move to a very small and quiet town so they could enjoy retirement. The town was extremely remote, nearly 6 hours away from the closest large city. I understand that this decision made sense for them, and I do not blame them for wanting peace and comfort at that stage of life. Not long after that, my mother decided to move to the same town, and that is where I spent my entire childhood. As I got older, my frustration with that place grew stronger. There was almost nothing to do, very few people my age, and long stretches of time where I felt completely alone. I was passionate about skating, but there was no skating culture at all. There were no proper spaces, no community, and no encouragement. There were no youth programs, no public transport, and no activities that helped young people feel inspired or motivated. I did not truly understand how limited my upbringing was until I finally moved away. Once I experienced life elsewhere, I started mourning the years I never got to enjoy. I eventually turned my passion into a career, but it is something that depends heavily on starting early. Because of that, I now feel like many of my most important years were lost before I even had a fair chance. I know that parents have the right to choose where they live, but what hurts the most is that neither of my parents is happy there. They are separated, disconnected, and emotionally distant. They live very isolated lives and do not maintain strong social connections. My father has struggled with his mental health for a long time and lives the same routine every day, working and then sitting at home without making changes. My mother constantly expresses frustration about her job, her finances, and the pressure of managing everything on her own. Growing up, there was no real sense of family bonding. We did not go on memorable trips together, we did not have regular family meals, and we did not create traditions or shared experiences. There was no encouragement to explore new places, develop curiosity, or enjoy life together. It felt like the smallest amount of effort was made when it came to building healthy relationships with their children. Whenever I tried to talk about how lonely I felt or how much the environment was affecting me emotionally, I was not met with understanding. Instead, I was told that my interests were the problem and that I simply did not belong where we lived. On top of that, my mother often behaved in emotionally harmful and manipulative ways, while my father was completely unable to have open or meaningful conversations about feelings. What makes this even harder is that they are not content with their lives either. I cannot understand how someone could choose to raise a child in such isolation without seriously thinking about what that place offers for growth, stimulation, and happiness. I spent my childhood and teenage years feeling trapped and understimulated, while my parents avoided change instead of improving our situation. When I said I wanted to see more of the world and experience different places, I was told it was too expensive, even though money was regularly spent on unhealthy habits. Over time, the resentment I felt slowly turned into deep anger. I am now in a loving relationship, and seeing how energetic, curious, and supportive my partner's parents are has been eye-opening. They enjoy life, value experiences, travel often, and maintain strong, loving relationships with their children. The contrast between their family and mine has made my feelings toward my own parents even more intense. At this point, I feel emotionally exhausted. I do not want a relationship with them anymore, and I am struggling to release the anger over a childhood that feels taken away from me.